Now we move on to our next session, which is on blockchain and ocean of opportunities, women in football. I would like to call the speakers on stage as and when I take their name. Raj Kapoor, founder of India Blockchain Alliance and advisory board member at over 20 blockchain companies. Ajay Singh, co-founder of DLT Labs. Dipti Agarwal, sales head sports tech at Tech Mahindra. Daniel Pinto, CEO of ITTI High Tech Institute based in Madrid and Director of International Relations at ISDE Spain. Alan Dragulo, co-founder and CEO of Change the Block. The moderator for this session will be Ananya Sachdev, founder CEO, Mabridge Sports, to join us on the stage and take charge of this session. Thank you.
Welcome to the panel on blockchain. This has been a topic that's been an elephant in the room for many, but it's such an important topic to cover, and how this exponential technology is going to be leading the wave for sports in India. So welcome Ajay and our other panelists who are joining us online. So I'll actually start with you, Ajay. My first question is, how do you think big data, crypto, NFTs, and all these solutions that are now emerging with blockchain going to be impacting the sports landscape?
So to start with, if you look at the big data part, so it is not something which is very new. Already the amount of analytics which goes into any sporting event, or how they are getting played, how people are getting trained. So it is already there in the world. What blockchain is bringing about is to make sure that data integrity is at the highest level, right? The data capturing points are correct. The data auditability is there, which is very much correct. So that is the another part or way towards improvement which blockchain is bringing in. Apart from that, if you look in the blockchain space, we consider this particular decade as creator economy, right? So by default, every industry, every aspect of life is getting touched by it. So sports, football, soccer is nothing alien to it. So what is actually happening is these particular way of creator economy, how things are getting tokenized. Again, digitization is not again something new to the world. There were already ways in when things were getting digitized. People were selling digital copies, right? Whether it's about an autograph. But what blockchain has brought in is way these things can be shared in a better fashion, way these things can be shared so that it cannot be forged, right? It is immutable. So it is just the next leap in the technology which is enabling or which is transforming the way various stakeholders within football are collaborating or engaging. The other very important aspect which blockchain technology is bringing in terms of how communities are getting built, especially we live in the era where everything happens online. So community building which used to happen without blockchain was at times lot of not decentralized or more democratic in nature. So blockchain technology is providing a way in which this community can run in a more of an autonomous fashion, where community as a whole can decide without person power play in picture, how the community can grow and how the community can move forward. The other stakeholders in the ecosystem, whether the players or the clubs or the other things, are also getting impacted by the same, in terms of technology has brought a way in which a lot of things can be tokenized. And as these things are getting tokenized, they are evolving to the next level. And also it is bringing in new elements of business revenues to drop into various aspects. So in general, these are the way in which, whether you call NFT, which is the non-fungible token, or blockchain technology as a whole, is trying to touch a lot of elements in sporting such as soccer and football.
In the previous panel, we actually spoke about giving power back to fans, and I think you touched upon that with respect to communities playing a broader role with respect to newer technologies like blockchain. So we have a lot of fans present here as well, into football and into sports. Can you highlight a little bit more about how these fans will now be able to control certain aspects of a club or of a league?
So let's try to understand something like, so all club and all fan base, right, or fandom, which we can call, right, require certain memorabilia, right, require certain things which they can savor. And in digital world, blockchain or NFT is one of the way in which those things can be owned in a more unique fashion. Those things can be owned in a such a way that it is unforgeable, it cannot be forged. So other aspect is there is a lot of ways in which when we talk about creator economy and how these things are getting streamed and how people are consuming it, whether it's event tickets, whether it's way you can view or stream on your screen, right? Now there will be a lot of ways in which those things will require to move at more scale, where you do not require to buy a subscription of a particular OTT for a year to just watch one event, right? Or pay for a whole month to just watch one event or one football match. So there are a lot of ways in which these innovations are happening in terms of tokenizing it, where you can view things on demand as when you require, and you can own those things. So you can start owning digital experience in comparison to an experience which was just shown to you. And other aspect is for the fan itself is a lot of these sports also delve into the part which we call as fantasy world, right? Where you can start building your fantasy league, you can start building your parallel team for a particular tournament and see how it is performing and all those aspects. So it is something which also comes under the area of play to earn, right? Or engage to earn also, whatever we can call. There are a lot of new terms which are coming in this particular area on day-to-day basis. So these are also the area in which fan engagement and how they are interacting with the ecosystem is going to change. The very big change for fan is the player themselves, how they can engage with fans. So if you look into the recent history of last 2-3 months, a lot of football clubs have started doling out NFTs. So Barcelona did. Recently, I think yesterday or day before yesterday, there was a news that FIFA for this particular World Cup is going to give NFTs for classical matches highlights, right, which fans can buy and fans can own. So it is a very overarching way in which these experiences are changing. So I think we can add a lot of, but I think, yeah.
Sure. Do we have Alan on the panel online with us?
Yes, here I am.
Hi, Alan. So my question goes to you now. With the rising application of blockchain, what changes are you seeing in the investment dynamics and the interest from people?
Okay, well, as my partner said before, there is a new kind of ways of investing in the crypto world, okay, and especially in the sports gaming. This is because of the new kind of, let's say, actives that we could find, like, for example, the NFTs and the non-fungible tokens. So what we find here is that the people could interact with the teams on a different manner than they did before. So they could really invest directly, for example, in the players instead of on the teams. They could have the possibility to really enter into this system. Okay, the sports governance is really strict and really restricted to people that it's from outside. So I think that if you are not part of the, let's say, of the leagues, or if you are not part of the team, you cannot invest on the team, so it's really difficult. And with NFTs, it's going to be more open. So what we are finding is a democratization in the access of the investment on the sports and on the way that the people could get into this world, not only as a player or only as a fan, but also as an investor. So I think this is one of the main differences. And the other one, just to be really fast, is the transparency that we could find. Because at the end of the day, we see that with blockchain, you could see all the transactions that are performed within the game and within the investment. And today is not so, it's a little bit dark to know exactly what is happening on the investment side on the sports. So I think this is the main changes that the sports are facing thanks to the blockchain and the application of the blockchain technology.
Absolutely. So I'm glad you touched upon one of those very important factors. And proceeding with that, my question goes to Daniel. Daniel, if you can hear us.
Yeah.
So
how are you, Nadia?
Great. So with respect to transparency, how do you think blockchain will help drive that in the sports world, especially, say, in the football transfer market?
Alan just gets the point, but also imagine you have, like, nowadays you have problems that you can see players that they don't receive, the bonus, or they don't receive the salaries. But imagine you make everything by blockchain with crypto, so you have both parties agrees, and after 2 years, this money will be directly to the player. You don't have, even if you are as a club angry to the player, this money will be directly to the player. So this will be the future for sure. We need more blockchain in clubs. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Do we have Deepthi on the panel with us? All right, probably not. We'll move back to Alan. Alan, my question for you is, what do you think are the foreseeable innovations in blockchain with respect to the football industry?
Well, thanks for asking. I'm really glad that I'm here with Danny. That I didn't know that he will be with me on this panel, and we are working together on a project. And I think that I will start speaking about it and answering to your question. What we see on the possible is that this kind of new investment will change the shape of the football game, and especially on the football investment. One of the examples that we are doing, and I think that Daniel will explain it better than me, is the possibility to invest directly on the players and invest on projects that are together with the players, okay, that belongs to the player. Okay, right now, when we are in the football, we only could invest on the team, or we could only invest on the player as a player, but not like on other topics that they are working on. For example, if they are on other projects that are beneficial projects, or if they are investing on different academies, etc. So what I see is that we are not going to be only open to invest on these teams, but also on all the things that are besides of the players. And I think that, again, it's going to be really transparent. I think that this is going to be a shape on the mentality that we have right now, on the way that we see football, especially on the investment side. I'm not sure on the gaming side, because, again, I think that blockchain will also shape the way that we interact as fans with the team, with the players, and with the Web3. We see that we are not only receiving information from the influencers, but we are also giving information, and we are also proactive with influencers. So I think there are going to be those two changes, one on the investment side and the other one on the fan engagement.
Right. I'll shift back to Daniel again. So Daniel, could you actually speak about certain challenges that come up with respect to blockchain and football partnerships? How are other stakeholders responding to the newer technology that's emerging?
I mean, yes, first of all, for example, Alan was mentioned regarding that topic. It was, for example, we have a few legends from two big clubs in Spain that are inside in one project that we have, and they say to us, we need blockchain and Web3 for one simple idea. When I retire to my club, after 6 months, I just realized that I don't have sponsors, I don't have fans anymore with me. So this is why we need Web3, because we need to attract these fans to the players. And when these players are, let's say, going to change one club to another, in the contract, they also will add, okay, I have, fans of like 1 million fans, but, in Web3. Not like, in Web 2 when you have, millions of followers, but maybe the engagement is not even not reach 5%. So you will be able as a player to go to a club and say, hey, I have this kind of engagement with my fans, so they will buy you merchandising. They will, be more in touch with you because they are my fans, and I give these fans, the opportunity to also be part of your new club. So that's also important to, to understand that we have, the clubs need to also help the players, to create this community, because this community are tribes, and they are going to jump from one club to another, and nowadays you can see that. But with future we will see more often, and we will see contracts with a specific topic about, okay, I have this many fans, and you can, even before jump to a new club, you can exactly know how much you will monetize this player.
Alan, Ajay, would you like to add to that as well in terms of the challenges with multiple stakeholders, and how do you see yourself surpassing those?
So there is one challenges which I see, which is not related to just a stakeholder, in terms of like NFTs, right? So people have started to treat NFTs here also kind of on speculation. So if we want to mature, and if we want to take this technology forward in a positive way, probably we should stop treating every kind of NFTs as speculative NFTs, and not started like it should. See, these NFTs should, for when we talk about an sporting area, it is more related to how the players are engaging with fans, how clubs are engaging with players, how these tokens are going to give utilities to them, and how these tokens are not just a way to become rich quickly, right? It is for fan, it is for maybe something related to fantasy events, but we should try to avoid going into that particular trap where these things are getting on a speculation basis, and they are getting traded based on speculations. Fan speculation is all right, because they are fans for a reason, right? But in general, we should stay away from that particular speculative frame of mind. Second important aspect or the challenge is to make sure that how to bring all these various stakeholders on board, because as we are moving towards from Web 2 to Web 3, which has a rails on blockchain technology, things are still evolving. Things are evolving, things are changing. There are new elements which are getting in new ways where people are trying to find a new business model, basically, right? These business models were not existing. So somewhere or somehow we need to navigate through this particular chaos or churn, right? And certain cautious step needs to be taken so that you do not get yourself into a pit hole.
Has it been hard defining utilities for NFTs, really? And Daniel, I think you want to add to that, so we'll maybe go to you first and get to the second question.
Oh, thank you. So yes, just to add more to Arman, regarding the NFTs, I mean, I remember when I was a kid, I was with my family going to a club, and I remember the next day going to the school, just talking about what kind of goals that happen, in the game. But nowadays, if I'm going back and instead of have a paper, have an NFT, I could just go to my school and show to my friends the highlights of 1 minute of goals, or a good time with my family, maybe posting photos inside of this NFT. So this NFT could it's an endless you have the endless possibilities to add value, and this is, I think, in terms of your last question, Anaya, about the stakeholder, they have to I think be inside of in one table with blockchain people, solutions, and also federation, all of together, and try to create value to these NFTs, because you can add wherever you want. It's just time to think. It's just the beginning. We are in the first phase, so we have to really work a lot to to start and making everything in the NFT setup.
Right, absolutely. Coming back to Ajay, defining utility for NFTs, do you think it's a harder task in a market like India, where on one side, yes, there's speculation, but on the other side, what else do fans have to get in return of these NFTs if they're not really trading them? How are you defining that long-term goal for these fans?
So See, technology as such is adding certain new elements which are changing experience, but at a very basic level, the engagement remains the same, right? It's just now how the engagement was where internet was not there, right? But the same thing got transformed over internet, and now blockchain is there, and now tokenization is there. So there are already utilities of these things, that things are there, but what happens at times, people start looking avenues to get rich quick, right? And that hype removes the utility part from these tokens. So these tokens or NFTs are not, so they can be categorized into various categories, right? So there are one memorabilia where you are collecting it for, you are a collector and you are collecting as people collect autographs, as people collect various, probably the coffee mug in which their super player or superstar player has drunk coffee or something like that, right? So there are those aspects, and then there are utility NFTs where you bring into your ticketing system, correct? Because there is always element how tickets are sold in black market. The people or the fan who wants to watch the game are not able to watch it because it is overly priced, not because that is the actual price, but since it is running in a black market, people have already bought in bulk. So these are the utilities which can be brought in with the technology such as NFT and blockchain, which will bring in a lot more better transparencies in the world, and it will make life of the fan easy. It will make life of the people who want to watch easy. So these are the kind of utilities. Other utilities, as I did talk about, right? Why you do require to take a subscription of an OTT channel for a whole month or for a whole year as such. That channel may be streaming something which is relevant to you, maybe for just 10 days, 20 days, right? So how can we go to such base level and tokenize those things and then distribute it? Ultimately, it is all about cutting through the trash and going, okay, this is the only content people want, how to just give that particular content. So these kind of utility comes from NFT. It will allow the streaming people also to make sure that those things are getting streamed, which is not getting shared at a larger way, in which now currently OTT platform gets shared by a password sharing and a lot of aspects, right? So these are the various utilities which are there. It's just that, when there is a hype around how you can earn a lot of money from it, these things get sidelined. So probably as the technology is maturing, as ecosystem is maturing, people will be able to recognize these utility in a more better way, and adoption will come.
Absolutely. I'll move to Alan now. Alan, could you speak about, or tell us rather, how you believe this new solution which blockchain brings in can actually help with aspects of fan engagement and grassroots sports? On one side we have tokenization, which a lot of clubs have now started implementing, and then we're moving into DAOs and smart contracts running those DAOs, which you're the expert at. How do you believe we're actually driving fan engagement forward with blockchain?
Okay, so thank you for the question. It's a great question. We have here two possibilities. First of all, we have I would say the simple one, that is the one that are using most of the teams launching their own tokens, that we see that really it doesn't have too much utility, at least today. So they are only using those tokens to buy some memorabilia or to buy some stuff from the teams. So really, it doesn't have too much utility. I think it's more like kind of investment or to show that you are part of a team. But I think on the future, those tokens, as you said before, they are going to have different kind of uses that you could show to your partners. As for example, Danny said that you maybe could join or attach some of your images or some of your livings within the game, not only what they want, the only thing that you see on the television, but what you have felt, during the game or whatever, you could attach to those tokens. I think that the next step is about DAOs, so it will change the governance system. I'm not sure if in the future we will decide who is going to play, because this is not part of what we are experts on, okay? Even that we are fans of the team, we are not the ones that should decide who must play or who mustn't play. But of course, we should take care on some of the decisions that the team is making. For example, if we are going to acquire a new player on the team, maybe we could have some kind of word and say, no, this guy is not good for us, or maybe it's good for us, or maybe because of what we think about the culture of this person that is coming to our team and what we want to show to the team. And I think there it's going to be a better understanding between the governance that we have right now on the teams, like the directors of the teams and the management of the team, and the fans. Because right now we have like a vertical conversation or a unilateral conversation where the managers of the team tell to the people, okay, we are going to do this, 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 and this. Hope you like it. And if you don't like it, don't buy our tickets and don't come to our, match. But I think that in the future we will have a conversation that is going to be a bilateral conversation between all the members and fans, and also about the management team, where they could say freely what they think about the team, how they want to see the team, where they want to continue with the team, and they will have some like a vote that right now they don't have, and that only the people that bought some shares of the company have them. And I think it will change the way that the fans will live the engagement and the team. So they will be really part of the team, even that they feel right now, but they will feel it on a different manner.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Daniel, would you like to add to that?
Yeah, thank you. No, I would like to ask to the people in the event, like how many people in there have a crypto wallet? Because what we have here is a problem of the mass adoption. We don't have yet, adoption. So we understand, the people who is in blockchain understand that blockchain solutions is everything for the industry of sports, but we don't have adoption. I don't know if you can ask people, raise hands, like how many people they have crypto wallets?
So I'm going to repeat the question. How many people present here have a crypto wallet right now? Just raise your hand. I see maybe 5-10%, but not more. Yeah,
okay.
It's a small number.
That makes sense. We have maybe in the end of 2021, it was I think 25 billion, transactions in NFTs, but in money. So you have just maybe half million of wallets, crypto wallets inactive. So this is like, we need really a mass adoption. We have more hype, of course. And you have maybe 3-4% that people really understand the crypto world. So we really need to work on the mass adoption. So then everything will be easier for everyone, for all the parties that are in the industry.
Absolutely. So to wrap it up, I would actually like to get everybody's thoughts. So I'll start with you, Ajay, on what you think are the next emerging opportunities with respect to blockchain in sports, especially football.
So the next opportunity is what we talked about, right, is just about NFTs, collectibles, how to tokenize the broadcasting rights, how to tokenize the fan who are watching the sports in such a way that they can buy subscription at such a granular level, tokenization of memorabilia which can be traded, and as other panelists talked about, adoption, right? So adoption is very essential. Without adoption, there is certain complexity in the technology as such currently. There are two ways it is going to get resolved. One, technology, as more people start getting to know about it, more awareness is going to come out about it. People will be able to assimilate in their day-to-day life, as similar how we use any probably email messaging services and everything, as well as the technology itself will dumb down to the certain extent that it can reach larger masses with much more security in place, right? So that people do not need to worry about securing their private key to such an extent. And there will be other players and other stakeholders coming into this particular arena where they will be managing these wallets on users' behalf, probably in little bit decentralized manner. So there is a long way to go ahead, but I think things are moving in that particular direction.
Thank you for sharing that. Daniel, over to you.
Yes, I just really hope, all the federations and leagues and clubs can be together to work on at least, for example, for security, to know who is going to inside of the stadium. Just for security, they need to have, everything in blockchain for tickets. Because imagine I just buy a ticket, I'm sick, I'm not going, so I'm going to, sell this ticket to whatever page, and I will send somebody, to inside of the stadium, and the stadium will not have the information of these people. They will just have the information of myself. So just because of this small detail, they will need blockchain, okay? Or at least change a lot of things in the ticket system. So I just want to leave this.
Absolutely. Alan, over to you with concluding thoughts on next opportunities through blockchain.
Well, I agree totally with my colleagues, and I think again one of the most differentiating points of blockchain will be the accessibility to the sports, and again the transparency and security that it offers to the people. So I think that we will see a shape on the mentality, on the way that we interact directly with the sports, and the way that we interact with the teams and with the gaming per se. So I think that blockchain will bring really huge changes to the way that we go to the stadium, as Daniel said, or that we keep a treasure of what we saw on the game. So this is only the beginning of a huge change in all the industry.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for sharing your thoughts. It's been a very insightful panel, and I think collectively the sports industry is looking forward to how this technology completely changes the way we work. Again.
Thank you so much for that insightful session.